Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.
This is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in SmackDown Live. Who needs Raw?
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you are watching Going In Raw.
Oh, baby, I like it Raw. Oh, baby, I like it Raw. And you are tuned in to Going In Raw right now. How you doing?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to live here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. We're also available at Podbean, iTunes. I want to say thanks to everybody out there who's on the iTunes, rating us, reviewing us. Man, it's a roller coaster. One day we'll be at like 80 in the iTunes sports and recreations category. The next day we'll be completely off the whole list. Yeah.
It's good to know that the ratings are up to date, though.
Oh, it's by the minute.
That's impressive.
To the minute. We're also available at Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Google Play, anywhere you can find podcasts, really. That's where we're at.
Did you say SoundCloud?
And at soundcloud.com/Steven Larson. One of these days I'll get around to getting us up on the Spotify, but I haven't done that yet. We've had all sorts of people saying, I totally listen to that on Spotify.
Okay, well, that's something we should look into.
Have you ever looked into Spotify before? Not in terms of our podcast, but just generally speaking.
No.
No, you've never really got it. People swear by it. I had it for a little while, and I couldn't incorporate it into my life enough. I got the Apple Music. That's good enough for me. I know a lot of people slag that off, but I like the Apple Music.
I haven't used that either.
Yeah, it's good. It's like everything. It's like the golden corral of music listening.
It's like
experiences.
playlists, though, right? Or radio stations. I know there's radio stations. I know like Dr. Dre has a show on there, right?
Well, Apple has Beats One, which is their radio station, which is by and large pretty quality stuff.
Yeah.
All the other stuff, like in terms of the radio stations, as you're referring to them, they're playlists, and I don't really deal with those too much. I just like the all you can eat nature of. Generally speaking, if it's not one of them guys on like Tidal trying to keep their shit from iTunes. Get on there, whatever you want. New Bon Iver, was listening to that. Got that on Apple Music. Don't have to pay a dime for it, except for my $15 a month, which my entire family, which as you know is extensive, gets to use it. So,
well, that's not a bad deal.
There's a plug for Apple Music, I guess.
Yeah. I've used Amazon Music.
Yeah. No, I've used that too.
That's not bad.
No, I like Amazon Music too. You know why I like Amazon Music? Because the band's live, what was their live? The
Last Waltz.
The Last Waltz, the live version is on Amazon Music,
that's
but
cool.
It's not on Apple Music. So if I ever want to hear the Dixie Town song, the old Dixie Down, whatever that song is, well, the live version of that, I have to go to Amazon. And believe it, I did that for a while just for that one song because I was obsessed with the live version of that song. It's better than the recorded version. We're also at Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. You guys can support this riveting conversation we have about various music streaming sites. We're old too. People are probably like, why aren't they on Spotify? Like, it's probably like an amazing service that I just couldn't figure out.
Could be. I'd still buy CDs.
Yeah. At Patreon, you can donate. You can pledge to the cause, subscribe to the cause. Look at these over here.
Those are postcards.
These are postcards, signed and ready to go. Make sure none of the addresses show up there. Stamped, signed, ready to go. We got a bunch more over there. We got a bunch of those Patreon shirts that are going out today. And you can see how you can get all those goodies over there at the patreon.com/Steven Larson. We've got a ton of new subscribers over there at Patreon, including Dave Lendowski, David Gaucher? I don't know. Branson Donahue, Mike McGrory, Johnny Ray Avila, Rob Krekel, Tucker Bombach, Thomas Powell, Colin, a fellow just named Colin, but was with a K. That's kind of cool. Nicholas Viola. I like that name. It's like Discovery. Viola. Jay Wood, Viv Banville, Robert Alomar, Mike, Andrew Piovani, Jake Woodthorpe, Eric, the Bass Hit King Blaha. That sounds like oh boy, that's a challenge right there. The Bass Hit King. Pretty sure I'm the Bass Hit King.
It's too bad there's no online multiplayer component.
Oh, are you kidding?
To the N64.
No, see, the problem with that would be we'd never be doing the show. We wouldn't be making any money because we'd always be doing that.
We'll be making money with online base hit tournaments.
Would that be the new esports?
Yes.
And then we could sell like crates.
It wouldn't be the new esports. It just would be esports.
We'd be selling crates and gambling. We'd start the gambling site. JT Blaze, Michael Quick, Jeanette Watson, Matthew Eaton, Christopher Tilley, Eddie Men, Tommy Cook. Oh, you're laughing at the Eddie Men.
No, I was laughing about how you said it.
And Eric Snedeker. All contributed to the
very
Patreon.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I love doing that every week. People have to sit through that shit. And they're like, and there's somebody I accidentally deleted the email. Hope if you didn't get your shout out.
Some of the early names you read off had questions last week.
And I think some of those, maybe did I read them off in the SmackDown show or something? Because some of them said Wednesday, and yet I vaguely remember some of those names reading them before.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the
I don't know.
that is. Anyways. Man, Alberto Del Rio got stabbed. Larson, you hear about that?
Yes, I did.
That's why he no-showed the AAA.
Mm-hmm.
Alberto got stabbed after a lovely meal, apparently waiting for his plane. He was at a restaurant. He was going to go to the plane. How do you say plane in Spanish? I don't know how to say plane in Spanish.
I don't know either.
Anyways, he was waiting for his plane. I don't know that. I don't know plane. And he was eating his food at the El Restaurante.
Okay.
And then he got stabbed. I don't know how to say stabbed in Spanish.
I don't either.
Blood everywhere. Lacerations everywhere. He's posting pictures on his Instagram.
I
He's
saw.
saying, hey, AAA. Because AAA was Mexican Luchador Wrestling. They were complaining about Alberto. He didn't show up.
Yeah.
But he was having a shoot match outside of a restaurant. For God's sake. Man. It's dangerous. Him? Jamie Noble? Got stabbed in a trailer park?
Yeah.
There has been an epidemic of stabbings of wrestlers.
There has been.
My goodness gracious, what's the world coming to? Hey, at least they're not shootings. Because that's much more dangerous, I would think. Getting shot as opposed to stabbed.
Yeah.
Anyways, we had a hell of a Raw last night.
Yeah, it was decent.
It was, again, Raw. Again, symptomatic of Raw's issues in that there are high highs and very low lows. And when I say low lows, I mean there's endless spans of boring happening. So let's do a Raw cap and talk about that.
All right.
Sorry, how did the show start off, Larson?
With Rusev and Reigns, I didn't actually see most of this. I didn't watch Raw straight through from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I watched like the last 2 hours of the East Coast feed.
Yeah.
And then I watched live the West Coast feed from about 8:15 till 9.
I love that Raw is such a task that we can break down an endless, like every week we break down, this is what I did while Raw was on.
I know.
And about 70% of it ends up being actually watching Raw. But usually there's a good, like, for me, for example, like I'll be live tweeting from @RealGoingInRaw, but then I'll tell people, I'm going to go get some dinner so you guys let me know how things are going because there's like mealtime during Raw, like 5 to 8
Yeah,
over
the
here.
East Coast feed, yeah.
Yeah, on the East Coast feed, which we get thanks to Comcast. I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I've got too many things in my day to take care of to sit there, especially when I know that a lot of it is going to be a slog.
Yeah.
That I can simply pick up some other time. Hulu has a wonderful truncated 90-minute version. Now, last night I watched most of it. I watched Rusev comes out to a chorus of boos there at the Staples Center.
You mean Reigns?
I'm sorry, Reigns. Thank you, Reigns. Yeah. Reigns comes out. I just look over here. I see Rusev. He came out to a chorus of boos and started delivering a promo. I think that's where I came in because
Okay.
I read on Twitter that people were booing the shit out of him. And I turned it on when Lana had already hit the ring and the crowd was chanting, "Thank you, Lana." I believe because Reigns was in the middle of a crap promo, or maybe he hadn't even started it. I don't even know. But all I know is that Lana was looking smoking hot. She was looking real good. And she was, she gave him the what for. Yeah. And it was kind of awkward between the two of them. Not a lot of chemistry. Reigns was, God bless him, was trying to do his thing, hey, chill out, put that beef away. But it didn't really work this time. Rusev comes out, destroys Reigns. Really go back and forth at it anyway.
Yeah, I turned it on right as they were kind of fighting outside the ring and as Rusev went up the ramp with the U.S. title.
Yeah, and then Reigns
punched him.
Yeah, returns, gives him a big Superman punch, and then says, You want to go to hell with me? I'll see you in a Hell in a Cell match. So, coincidentally, Hell in a Cell's a couple weeks away.
Yeah,
so
30th, I believe.
The 30th of the month, so we're about a month out.
It's interesting they're going to have that match be in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if the main event for the Universal title will be a Hell in a Cell match. If rumors are true, according to Dave Meltzer, that the Sasha-Charlotte rematch for the women's title may be in Hell in a Cell.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a bit when we talk about that main event, because when I say high highs,
that was great.
A great, and it's so amazing how in such a little amount of time they gave them, they were able to put on something that was very, very exciting. Yeah, that was really cool. But we'll get to that in a bit. I don't know. Every year, okay, so Hell in a Cell 2015. Did you look up last year?
No,
because I forget how many matches were actually in the cell.
Well, last year in the cell, I believe Reigns and Wyatt had a Hell in the Cell match.
All right, let's see.
Unless that was the year before.
I'm on Wikipedia, which we all know is
reliable.
Okay, Hell in a Cell match. The only one. Oh no, there were two. Reigns, Wyatt, and Brock Undertaker.
So that was the main event, right?
Yes.
Generally, the main event is in the Hell in the Cell.
Okay. All right.
I think.
Could you imagine Sasha Charlotte main eventing Hell in a Cell?
Oh, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
That'd be awesome.
And right now, it's the best thing that Raw has.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. I mean, we bitch about Raw's women's division sometimes in that there's too many people that need to be protected. But by golly, when they put on matches like they did last night, I'm okay with it as long as we get really, really good matches.
Yeah.
But anyways, getting back to Reigns Rusev, how do you see this? How do you see this match playing out? Do you think is there any chance Rusev's going to get that title back? Because I don't, especially not in a cell.
No.
I think Reigns goes over clean, but it might be a brutal match. They might put on a good match.
Yeah.
It was kind of the Reigns can do good work.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a little bit of the Sheamus thing though. People boo the crap out of him, but then in that Best of 7 series, they put on a really good match-based storyline with those two.
And Rusev and Reigns could put on really physical matches.
Yeah.
I mean, and this won't be a match where people are getting thrown off or jumping off the cell, but they'll use the cell itself as a weapon.
They'll use it like a cheese grater.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be rubbing heads up against it.
It'll be a really physical match. Don't
yeah.
expect anybody to go jumping or flying off of it.
Might be some blood. Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah.
People have been known to bleed in that cell. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's it's a decent enough feud we got going on here. I just think I don't think necessarily that if one guy's going to come out on top and Reigns is going to come out on top,
it kind of takes the drama out of it. Yeah,
it sucks the drama out of it. And so because of that, I'm kind of prevented from caring. I sort of look ahead. I'm like, I wonder where these guys are going to go from here.
Yeah.
Because how it's going to end up. It's going to end up with Rusev not having the U.S. title. It's going to end up with Reigns having the U.S. title and them continuing to try to rehab Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and if assuming
it's so bad now that we're sort of, it's like first it was, they're obviously just trying to make him a world champ. And now it's, they're obviously trying to rehab his image.
And if you think about what heels he could face after Rusev, I'm kind of drawing a blank. Oh, Jericho. We said that before.
Yeah, we thought Jericho.
But Jericho seems pretty wrapped up in the Universal title scene.
Yeah, we'll talk about Jericho in a bit.
He was great.
I'm telling you, he's 2 main event injuries away from holding that title.
I know. Screw it. We'll talk about it now.
Okay, let's talk
I wouldn't
about it
be
now.
surprised if he had like a short reign.
Yeah.
Maybe just a day.
He is so over. Who's more over than him on the Raw roster? Anybody? Who's more over than him? Arguably Sasha.
Yeah.
People love Sasha. People love Bayley.
Trying to think. I mean, the New Day and Enzo and Cass.
There you go. Singles wrestlers though, hard to come up with anybody.
I mean, during the Jericho Owens segment in the ring last night, the crowd was chanting Y2J.
When he said, "What should I do? Go after your title?" That entire everybody just like, oh boy. I love it.
They're building up for that.
I really hope they are. Because, man, that's good. That he was so good. Like, who else can carry Ashton Kutcher and the other kid, Danny Masterson? Who else can carry them as their guest host, whatever the hell they are, special guests? It was great. And then he does the thing where he leaves off camera and he comes back around.
And then on the other side of the frame, he pokes his head in and says, It. So good.
With his list is great. I feel like we're lacking structure right now. So what happened with Jericho?
Usually what happens.
What happened with Jericho Owens?
Well, they the first segment they were out, Owens was responding to Seth Rollins' interview with Michael Cole, which was kind of so-so. When I watched that, I thought, okay, you could be right about Rollins not really being into being a face.
That interview should have been on WWE.com, and it should have stayed on WWE.com because it shouldn't have been on there. I mean, it could simply be a matter of them not giving him anything to chew on because he hasn't had anything to chew on since he's been a face.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's like we said last week. We kind of know that he's not going to get that Universal title back anytime soon. We kind of know that WrestleMania he's going to be taking on Triple H. So between now and then, there's really, I mean, unless they're going to give him some really quality things to do as placeholders, there's nothing for him to do.
No.
You know, and so I can understand how there's not a lot of motivation for him to do much of anything.
And, you know, I feel like the template they're working with him is kind of the Stone Cold thing, where he's been screwed over by an authority figure.
Yeah.
And so, as Seth says, he wants to burn WWE to the ground.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of like taking the most mellow approach to that possible.
A sit-down interview with Michael Cole isn't really...
He should storm out to the ring, middle of a match, drop a promo with some passion, some intensity, maybe pedigree a few people.
Yeah. You know, we harken back because we've made parallels between, in terms of the storylines, because Seth Rollins is one of the best in the business. And, you know, you make parallels. Okay, well, is he going to be kind of a Stone Cold-ish guy now? Every week, Stone Cold is raising hell. Yep. And I know his attitude area, you can get away with more. But still, what I remember from that specifically was just the intensity that he brought to the arena every single Monday night. And that's why we were so transfixed on Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And if Seth wants to be at the level, or if the WWE, if the front office, if Vince and the guys want him to be that type of Stone Cold guy, they need to bring the intensity every week. Do you remember watching... when Stone Cold would do an interview like that, let's say it's like with JR.
Yeah.
And we all knew that Stone Cold and JR were best friends, but you always had the idea that at any moment, that was the thing about Stone Cold, you always had the idea that at any moment he was going to stun the shit out of somebody.
Yep.
Whoever was around him might get a stunner at any moment. Yep. And it added so much tension. I don't ever get the idea that Seth Rollins is going to give a pedigree to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That should be his thing.
Yep.
That should be his thing, that he's going to drop that on anybody.
It was nice after the New Day Jericho match that he did come in and show a little bit of intensity and did pedigree Jericho.
Yeah.
That was nice.
When the go-home show before Clash, when he came off the top of the cell, that was some intensity. But it needs to not just be in... his physical actions, the fact that he came down and he pedigreed.
No, it has to be in how he carries himself.
It has to be in his every movement and in his every word. This guy could edit. When Stone Cold would look at you, when he would look at somebody, you were just hoping he wasn't going to stun you. And that came across on TV when he was interviewing JR. He had that thing like everybody was offending him and that he was going to drop stunners on everybody.
Yeah.
You know, sitting there like this. Like everything you would say to Stone Cold, he would be measuring it to determine whether or not you were going to get stunned.
Yeah.
I never get that from Seth Rollins.
No.
He does a lot of yelling and screaming, Mick Foley, Stephanie McMahon, blah, blah, blah. Do you think I care that Triple H replaced me? I don't know. There needs to be that tension there.
Yes.
Where he's going to fuck you up at any moment.
Yes.
And he doesn't have that.
No. Anyways, going back to the Owens-Jericho promo. It was good stuff. Really good.
It was really good. It was very, again, it was one of the highs of Raw. And the thing is, that shouldn't have been a high on Raw. You have 3 hours, and one of your highlights is some jokey back and forth between Jericho, Owens, and the New Day. No, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
It's great stuff. And this is their marquee guys, and they're doing really, really good stuff. So let's focus on the positives. It was really, really funny putting the New Day on the list.
Well, I love that Owens, when Jericho suggested they go after the tag titles,
yeah.
Owens just says,
I got a lot on my plate.
that just seems like a lot of work.
It seems like a lot of work. I got a lot on my plate. And Jericho says, well, what? Should I go after your title? And then the entire crowd just gasps and starts chanting Y2J because he's so entertaining.
Yep.
And at this point, it would be the great thing about this, though. I mean, the great thing about this is that, every once in a while you need to measure where the superstars' power levels are. And his are high because he's booked strong.
Yep.
They booked Jericho strong.
Yep.
And because of his history of being booked strong in general, he's a multi-time world champ. He's, I think, the record holder for the IC championship.
Yeah.
He's just naturally a strong player, and he can backstab. It would be totally believable to see Jericho during the course of one really well-written pay-per-view backstab Owens and somehow end up with the title over his shoulder.
Yeah. And it could just be for a day.
Yeah.
He can lose it the next night on Raw.
And it's totally legit, and it would boost ratings, and it would be great. It would be fantastic.
Kick off a great story between two really good competitors.
Exactly.
It'd be great.
Exactly. And I would actually think that when we see, because we sort of see, and I mean they make no bones about this, about referencing this, the fact that what we're seeing with Kevin Owens right now is kind of Seth Rollins 2014. You know what I mean? Like they're sort of, he's now the authorities guy.
Well, they've explicitly stated that
He's
Kevin
replaced
Owens
him.
has replaced Owens.
It'll be interesting to see, and I think it'll be an improvement in performance when Kevin Owens is in the same spot. When he does lose the title, when he's the face chasing it, I think we're going to see intensity. Whenever Kevin Owens is doing whatever, I kind of get that with Owens in that when it... Contrast the two. A Kevin Owens, Michael Cole interview.
Oh, yeah.
And Seth Rollins, Michael Cole interview.
Yeah.
I kind of get with the Kevin Owens one that he's a step away. Maybe not Stone Cold levels, but he's a step away from physically assaulting Michael Cole.
Yeah.
And their dynamic is very entertaining.
Yes.
And it's very jokey, but still Owens always has that thing where he's on the cusp of being so offended he's going to beat somebody up.
Yeah.
And I just don't get that with Seth.
Nope.
I feel like Seth is more using Cole as an outlet or using other people as as sort of to like, he has grievances that he wants to say. He's not going to make them physical yet. He needs to. Let's see here. So, yeah, that was all very entertaining.
And it led to a match between Jericho and the New Day.
That's right, yeah.
Good match.
Yeah, I had to turn the mute button on.
Yeah, I did too.
Because I don't want to hear Ashton Kutcher and the 70s dude. They're both the 70s guys. I don't want to hear them promote their show. I don't want to hear them talk about wrestling. They're not good. And I get the idea of, promotional deals.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. Not really the same thing, because it wasn't nearly as bad. But when they had that Jagger Eaton kid on, the SmackDown pay-per-view.
Yeah, at a Backlash.
And it was so cringeworthy. It was like, why is this kid here?
I know.
I don't want to see him.
I know.
Please. So, I mean, I understand WWE needs to make money, and this is one way they do it. But it was just...
they should have just stuck to the backstage segment.
Yeah.
That was okay.
Yeah, no, that was well done because Jericho got to anchor it. But when Jericho's not around, when you don't have somebody who can anchor it, and God bless him, Corey Graves. When I did listen, Corey Graves tried his best. He was engaging with them and stuff.
Yep.
But man, it was.
Yeah, I couldn't listen to it anymore.
Yeah. Let's see here. We had in the Cruiserweight, we had two really good Cruiserweight matches.
Yeah.
This is exactly the function that they serve. It's like, you know what? There's a lot of crap on Raw, but I can almost guarantee when we see one of them Cruiserweight Classic, one of those Cruiserweight division matches, we're going to get something good. And we got two good ones last night.
And I like that they're developing stories with them.
They are. And it's in their own micro NXT type way. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to sprawl out into the whole show.
Yeah.
They're doing it in their own little microcosm
and I like
way.
with Tony Nese, they're obviously building him up to be the number 2 heel in that division.
Tony Nese, man. And I love Tony Nese. He's a good wrestler.
And it wasn't like a huge thing where he beat the hell out of somebody.
Right.
It was just his actions were heelish.
Right. Exactly.
Subtle.
So let's talk about that first, I guess. We had Rich Swann. Love Rich Swann.
Yeah.
And we had Tony Nese. Love him. They had a really, really good match. Nese went over, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. And then we also had in a non-title match, which oddly enough, I picked up on before everybody else, because I think they mentioned it like in a Raw preview online somewhere. There was going to be a non-title match for a title shot.
Yeah. Didn't they mention that during the match too?
I think they probably did.
Or
but then
prior to it,
a bunch
on
of
Raw?
bunch of the friendos were like, "Wait, I thought the title's is non-title match," and I was like, "Usually I'm the one saying that."
Yeah.
That was the rest of you guys out there saying that. So, notch one for this guy. Fantastic match. The Brian Kendrick made TJ Perkins, the Cruiserweight champion, tap out.
Yep.
I loved it. I loved every second of it.
So they'll have another title match at Hell in the Cell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder if that'll be in a cell.
I would really hope so. One of our friendos on Twitter said, "I just want all the Cruiserweights in the cell at the same time." God, that'd be terrifying, though. So many injuries. Let's see. Those guys do not care about putting their bodies on the line. It's fantastic. Also very terrifying.
Yeah.
Because we're old and we know,
Yeah, I know.
guys, we want you to be around for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see here. We had Braun. He came out, destroyed Fat Adam Cole. He looked exactly like him. According to Ulysses, Commissioner Ulysses, he was at Raw, and everybody started chanting Fat Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Because he looked exactly like a Fat Adam Cole.
He did look a lot
Adam
like
Cole,
Adam
baby.
Cole.
Yeah.
Another squash match. Braun went over.
And looks like Braun is going to be entering into a real feud of some sort because he called out Mick Foley, said, "I want some real talent." And I think, sort of echoing everybody else, like, why hasn't he been given real talent? I mean, it's so funny because if you think about it in the storyline sense,
Yeah.
like in their universe, like we all know, we all totally understand that they're bringing these jobbers out to build up Braun Strowman as a monster. We get that. However, in the concept of their universe, in their storyline, it makes not a lick of sense. Not a lick of sense to put him out.
If you want to make Braun Strowman look like an absolute monster, like give him people of comparable size to wrestle.
Right.
And have him manhandle him.
They had him talk on the mic a little bit more last night than they usually do.
He did good.
I like Braun. Look, all you got to do, I guarantee, you want to get into Braun Strowman, you want to like Braun Strowman, listen to him on the Stone Cold podcast.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a couple times.
Seems like the nicest dude. Seems like he's got obviously a ton of charisma. He's got a really great sort of a deep Southern voice, and I think they could do a lot with this guy. And it doesn't have to be in your stereotypical monster thing.
Yeah.
I think once they remove him from that framework, he'll go really far. Maybe they need him to do that right now to get his reps in.
Yeah.
But I think Braun Strowman, provided he stays healthy, I think that he could potentially have a really, really strong career.
They seem to be, or either he is having a hard time coming up with the finisher, or WWE is not happy with whatever he or they are coming up with. 'Cause it seems like every week there's something different. Because he was doing the reverse choke slam for a while.
That's right, yeah.
And then last night he won with the running power slam.
Yeah.
I think last week they did something else, or he did something else.
Not a fan of any power slam being a finisher.
Yeah.
Because it's just a body slam. I mean, it's a...
Well, he ran.
Yeah. I don't like... what moves do we like that involve running? I don't like the running power bomb at all because I think it's just ugly. I don't like the running power. Like when you run, haven't some people like run and sit down? Like it's the run, sit down combo.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. I don't like the sit down power bomb. It was like a good, Kevin Nash really did have the best power bomb, I think.
No.
What do you think? Who?
No,
Tell me who.
His didn't like any torque behind it. Like you get him up and he just drop him. There's no downward
He
force.
power bomb. You know what? We did that list, worst title matches. He power bombed the shit out of Mabel. He got Mabel up. I liked his, man. I liked how awkward they looked. It looked like it was real. Who has a better power bomb than Kevin Nash?
Kevin Owens. When he does a real power bomb, not the pop up.
Oh yeah.
There's torque behind it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else.
Then the others of pain, aren't they doing a power bomb these days?
They take their opponents and power bomb together. Back to back.
So stiff too.
Yeah.
God, it looks like it hurts like hell.
Oh, they're in the Dusty Classic.
Early favorites to win for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't I say that last week?
No, you said that
Who did I say was gonna win?
Gargano and Ciampa were going to win.
Oh, they're gonna win that thing. It's gonna be them in the revival.
Authors of Pain are going to win that thing.
You know what? I think the Authors of Pain are going to lose because of DQ. They're going to do something where they screw somebody up so bad, they're going to DQ themselves out of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Revival and Gargano and Ciampa meet like in the semifinals.
Yeah.
And then Gargano and Ciampa go over, but then lose in the finals to Authors of Pain.
I don't think you're gonna job them out twice to top heels like that.
Well, they beat the Revival, then they have a legitimate claim at a title shot. They still get that.
Yeah, okay.
But they don't win the tournament.
Those are some big dudes in Authors of Pain, man. Oh boy, those are some big dudes. They're terrifying. I love that. Oh, they're scary. I love it. You think
there's so many good teams in the tournament this year.
I know.
There's a lot of really good teams.
I know. Somebody tweeted me out a picture of Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masters.
I saw that too.
That was pretty damn funny. All right. Let's see here.
There was a Sasha and Bailey segment backstage.
Yeah, a bunch of people on Twitter saying they thought Bailey was going to turn last night. They had me believing it towards the end of that main event. I was like, man, you think really? Maybe it's going to happen?
They can't turn Bailey
Nah,
heel.
you're right. Logic dictates they can't turn Bailey.
Heel.
Like ever. They can't turn her heel.
Especially after she lays out Dana Brooke, she's not going to turn heel.
You think, right?
They're just going to start a Dana Bailey program.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about that real quick. But Bailey's backstage. So yeah, there was a little like Bailey saying good luck to Sasha, you know, et cetera, et cetera. She was giving the good luck rub to Sasha. We're the bad luck rub. So Bailey reinstated the good luck rub. Okay. Although you could say that the match the Clash match that she lost.
She didn't lose. She didn't take the pin.
She didn't take the pin, and also she didn't get injured, which I still think that match was a feeler to see how she is and say, okay, well, she's not going to win this one, but if she gets through it, she doesn't get injured for another couple weeks, we'll put the belt on her. So Bailey was giving her that good luck rub. Then later on, directly preceding that main event match, Charlotte was backstage. She says, oh, look, it's Dora the Explorer. And she talks some shit, moves along. Bailey does that like thing where she's getting bullied. It's all awkward. And she's like, I'm like, you're Bailey. You're kind of a monster now. Like, you had that belt for a long time. Yep. You're kind of a monster. Dana Brooke stays behind to try to talk some more shit, but Dana Brooke's terrible. So Bailey threw the shit out of her. And the greatest thing about that was, if you watch it back, you can hear Dana Brooke say, ow.
Yeah, I know.
It was legit, Al, like back in college when you, me, Hilton, and Jeff used to like try to wrestle and we just hurt each other.
Yeah.
Hilton, God. God. It wasn't like a real, it wasn't like a.
It was a shoot.
It was a shoot. I was like, I just fucked myself up. Oh, that was good. Anyways.
There's a couple Cesaro and Sheamus segments backstage.
I love these two, man. These guys are great. You don't like them? No good?
No, they're fine. They remind me of us.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know. Like when the cameras aren't rolling. It is. It's probably actually how it is with these two. Like, they bitch at each other like a married couple, and then, they start laughing and chuckling and stuff. And start, like, demanding that they get to pay for the bill. No, I got this one. No, I got it. You got it last time. That's us, man.
Yep.
So yeah, they had a couple of good segments. Mick Foley seems to bring the heat with them. Like, I feel like Cesaro and Sheamus are the only two that Foley can really vent to.
Yeah.
Without getting himself in trouble.
Yeah.
Because like he starts laying everything out to them. He's like, look, last week I got it. I was emasculated by Stephanie McMahon. I'm trying to do the SmackDown ratings thing, and they're like, how does this pertain to us, man?
Yeah.
And he says, I want you guys to really bring the heat, get on the same page. You take on a couple more jobbers in the form of a couple of guys named Raul White and Mark Carradine.
That's what WWE.com said.
It's great.
Were their names. Because I missed the match.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. What's great, too, man, is that lately when I'm sitting there drawing, I'm finishing up the Steven Larson comic, for God's sake. And I was watching some Raw from 95. No, it was when I was gathering assets for the last Top List episode.
Okay.
I was watching some 1995 Raw. And it is hilariously just put together by duct tape. It's so indie feeling.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, man. It's so dark and weird.
And they were having the shows in smaller venues.
Yeah, and like it was just a rotating, like honestly, back like if ECW at its peak was in competition, like if they were there while that Raw was happening, then you'd be like, wow, ECW could be hot shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like we all know once the Attitude Era really kicked off, they had no chance. But that version of the WWE, like Nash said in that JBL Legends episode, nobody was drawing that, and it's obvious.
Yeah.
It's obvious that was being hit by Vince's trial and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's funny because back then they treated jobbers the same way they're sort of treating them with Cesaro and Sheamus. It's like there wasn't that sense of oh, they're just bringing these guys out to get killed. It was no, like half the guys that were fighting were jobbers. Like nobody. Like maybe they just needed to protect everybody, so everybody fought jobbers back then.
Yeah.
It was hilarious, and some of these guys look. I swear to you, I could have put on a better match than some of these jobbers. Like I'm in better shape than some, and I'm in horrible shape. I could have put on a better match than some of these jobbers. It was hilarious back in 1995 Raw. Watch it. Like,
yeah.
Like oh,
I remember those days.
So it's so hilarious. Anyways. Yeah, so they destroyed those guys. Got a great little moment, too, when Cesaro... So Sheamus was bent over, I think, trying to put his dude into, like, a submission or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was bent over, so his back was, like, parallel to the ground. And Cesaro comes in, uses Sheamus to leapfrog. Like, he does that thing. Like, he uses his foot. He bounces off of Sheamus. Like a step. And goes into a DDT on the guy.
Cool.
It was really cool. It was a really cool move.
Yeah,
it looked like he might have fucked up the dude because the guy, like, you know, when you do that, you're coming down pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it looked like the guy didn't move fast enough.
To
come down, and so it looked kind of awkward when he fell. So he might have wrenched his neck. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I didn't see anything.
No, I was out walking the dog during that match.
Well, you didn't miss much, but there was a cool spot. Those matches are very quickly becoming very fun because of the interaction between Cesaro and Sheamus. Two guys trying to one up each other, and I like that dynamic. I think it's a lot of fun. Let's see here.
We had Sami Zayn.
Okay, so they're
versus Titus O'Neil.
They're debuting this new gimmick for Titus O'Neil. So I thought for sure Titus was going to go over because they're like, okay, yeah, Titus O'Neil. He's got his new Titus O'Neil brand.
Yeah.
So is this a shot at Ryback?
It might be.
Because it feels that way. Because Ryback is on all the social media. Feed me more. This is the brand, Ryback's brand. I changed my name to Ryback, stupid. Now I'm going to go to El Pollo Loco and have a thing where I'm going to meet with the fans. Feed me more. That's his brand. That's his brand. Now Titus O'Neil has his own brand.
Yeah.
I think it's a shot. I think it's a shot at Ryback. I think it is.
It could be.
It's very underwhelming, though. And there was actually pretty kind of a funny... It could have been funnier, like a press conference he held after Raw that ended up on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And it's just Tom Phillips in the press room, and yeah, it's pretty funny. So, anyways, that like Titus O'Neil debuting a new gimmick coming out of Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn ain't doing nothing these days. I'm like, okay, well, that's a strong opponent that Titus O'Neil can theoretically go over on for his new brand. Didn't happen. Sami Zayn took the win.
Yeah,
and Titus O'Neil did the job. But I want all the best for Titus. I'm glad that we're doing something with him.
I know.
I didn't see Darren Young.
Yeah, he hasn't been on in a few
He
weeks.
hasn't been on for a while. Bob Backlund is staging a holdout of some sort.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
We had the Club versus the Golden Truth.
Now, okay, so as soon as Demolition's record is ending, the Club's getting these titles. That's what's happening. Because last night they did this sort of kind of reset button on them where they explicitly said their eyes are on the titles. That's what their goal is, but they're establishing their dominance. So for the next 3 months or however long it's going to be, 2.5 months, they're going to be killing people, and then they're going to win those titles. They're next in line, I guarantee it.
I wonder if leading up to SummerSlam, if the original plan was for the Club to win them then Vince or someone said, no, let's give the New Day the record.
That could be.
And then we'll put them on the Club.
That could be. Yeah, it could be.
Because everything leading up to SummerSlam seemed like the Club they were going to win those belts.
Yeah.
But.
Let's see here. And then we had our main event, right? Is that it? We had our main. Oh, the End Zone Cast did a nice little segment with the Susan Certified G Komen Foundation. A couple of cancer survivors. They got some of them women's championship belts. Nice little segment.
Yeah.
Those guys, I hate to say it, they're suffering from the brand split. They are the New Day. They need to be their own version of the New Day on SmackDown. That's what needed to happen.
Yeah.
They're suffering. I mean, no, it's great that they did this segment with the, but the fact is they're not doing anything right now.
Yeah.
So.
And then, because if the New Day are going to hold those belts till they beat
They're
Demolition.
on hold for,
record. There's just not much. There's not much for Enzo and Cass to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird that like a super over face act would have nothing to do.
I know.
Because it's like, they need to be protected.
Yeah.
Especially Cass. Like, because I think they have big plans for that guy.
But of all the other tag teams on Raw, they could put him in some sort of program.
You think?
I mean, they started doing that with the Shining Stars, but
went nowhere.
Yeah.
I spit in her face.
I would love saying that's like one of my favorite impressions, like on the download. I spit in her face of people who don't want to be cool.
I have here written down Stephanie backstage segment. I don't remember what happened. Oh, was it Steph just saying, hey, you shouldn't be out there getting physically involved in matches while you're hurt? I think that's pretty much what it was.
I feel like it's the exact same thing with those two backstage every single week. Nothing of consequence is said. Nothing of consequence. So, such a waste of time. Then we had a spectacular main event. Didn't give them a lot of time. They came out,
what, 12 minutes?
They came out at around the 10 till mark.
Yeah.
Introduced them.
Introduced them, had like 3 moves.
I think introduced Sasha.
Went to
commercial. Charlotte comes out because Sasha's music was still playing when they came back. And then had maybe, like you said, 3 moves. Went back to commercial. Then they had, I would say, probably a good 8-minute chunk. I could probably look it up somewhere.
It was about 10 minutes, I think, yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Of a really fantastic match. So I'm okay with it as long as they brought it, because everybody on the Twitter at Real Going in Raw, all you guys are out there, they're not going to give any time to this match.
I know.
But by the end, everybody was
when I saw when they came back from that second commercial break, and it was about 5 till 8.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Knowing, full well there's an overrun on Raw every week. I was like, okay, there's going to be some interference. They're not going to have a clean finish to the match.
Yeah.
It's going to stop, it's going to end before there's a decent finish.
Yeah.
But it turns out I was wrong.
When they had Charlotte, I mean, it was kind of they were just mimicking last time this happened. When they had Charlotte, they were cutting up to close-ups to her and letting her audio come through when she was saying, you're not the best. Or
you
whatever.
Can't beat me.
You
that
can't
kind of
beat
stuff.
me. That kind of stuff. I was like, okay, I think Sasha's going to win this thing.
Yeah.
It was either that or Bayley goes heel, which I know is completely out of the question, but I don't know what that was.
Not going to happen.
Charlotte and those moonsaults. This was like a corkscrew moonsault.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How does she get that? Like, what do you think when you go that high?
I know.
She gets so much air on those. They
know.
look beautiful.
They do.
They look beautiful. And then she lands and it's like, oh my God. I get terrified.
Between that and all the suicide dives.
Because, I mean, here's the thing. Like, the first 25% of this match, there is something about Sasha and Charlotte that they're not botch heavy, but you always get the feeling that they could land a really nasty botch at any moment.
They're really ambitious with their matches.
Yes. And I feel like sometimes their reach out exceeds their grasp in terms of getting moves right and not.
Yeah, there was that one spot where Charlotte, I think, was supposed to slam Sasha's back against the ring apron.
Yes, they're on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And instead, Sasha just kind of slid into the ring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So something was supposed to happen there. That was probably supposed to be really cool. And maybe when they ran it through before the show, maybe it was really cool. But it didn't work last night. And I think they do that. I don't know if they do it too much, but they've done it enough to the point where I'm like, are we going to go to Botch Fest? Is somebody going to hurt themselves?
Yeah.
So I feel like they need to bring it down in one notch, and they'll be perfect. But sometimes some of their shit doesn't work well. And it feels like it gives them the appearance that they don't have chemistry in the ring, but I think they do.
Yeah, they have really great chemistry.
It's just, man, they do something.
Well, like that spot at SummerSlam where Charlotte was doing the sidewalk slam.
Yeah.
And live, it looked like a botch.
Yeah.
But then you watch it on TV, and you're like, okay, that was a planned spot.
Right.
It just didn't come off right, I don't think. Because I think Charlotte was supposed to drop Sasha's lower back across the ropes.
Yeah,
but it ended up being her knees.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. It was a fantastic.
But it was great, a great match.
Yeah, it really was. It was a great match. Fantastic finish.
Charlotte looked strong in defeat.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. Charlotte is the flipping foundation for the entire women's universe in the WWE. She is the standard right now, dude. She's fantastic, and you know that at any time she can carry that belt and look great.
Yep.
And it's just Sasha Banks is the women's Daniel Bryan. You know, that's who she is. She goes and goes and goes, and people love her for that. It's my chair.
Okay.
I gotta get some.
I'm over here shaking my head, and I thought it was mine.
WD-40. Yeah, no, I have a natural jiggle.
I think you need to tighten.
Tighten. Yeah. Tighten.
Yeah.
Taut.
Too many loose things on that chair.
We watched Veep last night. God, have you watched Veep?
No, I need to watch that show.
You'll be dying laughing. God damn it, it's so good. That was such a friggin'. I just went off on a tangent.
Yep.
Sorry. Anyways.
Great match.
Yeah, great match.
Apparently,
Sasha comes out on
rematch
top.
in Hell in a Cell.
That's what they're talking. So Meltzer this morning said that there's been some talk.
Yeah.
They wanted to. They did that as the main event last night to get a feel for how people will accept that as the main. Could you imagine if they had Sasha Charlotte's rematch in a cell? Now, in a cell is enough.
Yeah.
But if it was the main event,
Man.
and I know it's going to be Owens Rollins, but man,
Well, if
go
that's-
with what's hot.
If that's not in a cell, can you have it as a main event? Speaking about Owens Rollins.
I didn't know that Seth needs to stay away from the cell when it's lowering because he almost got killed.
No, that was a
once.
cage.
That was a cow straight up cage. Okay.
Yeah.
Can they lower and de-lower? Can they lower and raise a Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
They can.
Well, they had 2 Hell in a Cell matches
You're
last
right.
year.
They did. Yeah.
And they weren't back
They
to
weren't
back.
back to back. Okay. All right. So they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think that the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view should be all Hell in a Cell.
I agree.
Everything should be in
Maybe
a cell.
this year it will be.
That'd be great. What other matches are we gonna have? What are we thinking for the tag matches?
Oh, I think it's New Day against
Cesaro
and
Sheamus,
Sheamus.
is that
Yeah.
thing? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Put that in a cell. Cruiserweight should be in a cell. We
Um,
already know Rusev Reigns in a cell.
What else do we have?
Who else is in a pro? What's Jericho gonna do? Who's Jericho gonna fight?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Should have been Jericho, Sami Zayn, man. That should have been a freaking program,
Yeah, that never led anywhere, did it?
right? Should have been a program. This is the first post Clash.
Yeah.
Should have been a thing. Put them in a thing. I got the questions.
They just had the one match, right?
I got the questions.
And that
for
was
you.
it. That Jericho won. Yeah, that was it.
That was it. They did nothing.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn got smashed in the head with the phone. Maybe he just said, "Hey, Jericho's tough."
Yeah.
I'm saying
he,
this
he,
guy.
probably, he probably said to himself, "Man, I got smashed in the face with a phone. I'm lucky because Shawn Michaels got his head put through a TV."
Exactly, and he ended up with a wonk eye.
So,
I swear, Michaels said that it was the TV.
yeah, I thought I heard that too.
Somebody in the comments said that it was he said that it was a match with Kane that he had, but I thought it was the TV. I thought I
heard that too.
Yeah, okay.
But
Making sure we're on the same page here.
questions.
I got the questions. I want you to answer them immediately.
Okay. Najee Poles. Appreciate you, Larson, for getting my name right on a weekly basis.
Can I just say I'm the one who told you how to pronounce that?
That's true.
This was me.
Anyway,
Continue.
seeing Bailey lash out on Dana Brooke before the main event was dope.
Yeah.
Nice seeing the pit bull in her come out for once.
I love it.
With that being said, is there any way either one of you could book a Bailey heel turn at any point in her career? I find it difficult with how G-rated her character is, but maybe you guys have an idea.
I want them to run with her as a face for her entire career. In about 7 or 8 years, people will start to hate her. Like the crowd will be split.
It's the John Cena
But
scenario.
because she sells all the merchandise, I just want her to be the next John Cena.
Yeah. The retired 30-time European champion Dwayne Nix.
I don't think you ever made it past 5.
Sami Zayn versus Titus O'Neil? Really? I feel bad for Sami. It seems like the writers for Raw have nothing for Zayn. If it were up to you guys, how would you book Sami? Maybe a trade to SmackDown would help. I mean, a trade to SmackDown would bolster SmackDown's mid-card.
Yeah, no, it would do a lot
It
for
would
everybody.
it
I
would
think.
give The Miz, assuming he retires Dolph,
I'd love to see
come
Sammy as the IC
come
champ.
Sunday.
He'd
Yeah.
be perfect as an IC champ. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Now that Cesaro seems to be off the SmackDown trade block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Rodriguez, what are your thoughts on the reports that WWE ticket sales and casual viewership may be decreasing because there's too much content to keep track of? Do you think we have too much wrestling now on a weekly basis?
I'm just going to say this. If you guys pay attention to, I forget what his Twitter handle is, but Dave Meltzer's Twitter account is always a really good place for, I think he sort of engages his trolls a bit too much. And he tends to answer things with, I covered that extensively this week already. But beyond that stuff, Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer is a really good Twitter follow because you have some really good, interesting Q&A trivia stuff. One thing he did say was somebody asked him on Twitter, how's the WWE doing financially these days? He says financially they're very healthy.
Yeah.
So regardless of what their ticket sales, casual viewership,
they're diversifying their revenue streams.
Exactly. And if he says they're a healthy company financially, I tend to believe him.
Yeah. Tommy Cook, do you think Jericho should have gone over? I like the idea of a triple threat tag team match with the longest reigning tag champions versus a team that hates each other versus the Universal Champions.
I don't think that Jericho should have gone over. I don't believe that. I think
that match was booked exactly how it should have been.
Yeah, and I think tag teams should naturally be stronger than any singles wrestlers who just come together, because tag team should be a thing unto itself. And if you do that thing extensively, that should trump two singles guys.
Yes.
Who are,
Jeffrey D. With Raw falling on Halloween, do you see any superstar reinventing themselves, a la John Cena? And who could use a repackaging? Well, last night there was a promo about Emma.
Emmalina is coming to Raw. That bums me out, man. I really liked her. Emma, our storyline for Emma was the best. She's too much of a sweetheart to be a real heel.
Yeah.
But she really liked Dana Brooke hanging out with her, so
Yeah.
she had to be a heel. So she did the most cartoonishly heel thing she could do.
But then she was still having so much fun that she would smile during matches.
She would always smile during her matches.
Yeah.
And she'd wear she was just a cartoonish heel. Like, she wore aviators inside. She had black leather gloves. She had like those weird like shoulder pads.
Yeah.
I liked her as a heel.
I did too.
We'll see what they're going to do. I mean, I don't know. It bugs me when you see a bunch of, look, I think Emma, I think she's hot. I think her Instagram feed is chock full of her in bikinis, and I think that's great. That's the place for that.
Yeah.
When she's going to be a wrestler, I don't want to see some chick. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I know what you mean.
They're presenting her in a way that just reminds me of that crap back in the mid-aughts when they would bring in chicks who were ready for Playboy. I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that either.
I hope there's an interesting twist on what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and also we know that Emma is a quality wrestler.
Yes, correct.
So,
Emmalina. Why Emmalina? Is
I
there
don't
a
know.
reference there that I'm missing? I don't like that.
hopefully they'll explain it all.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'll believe it when I see it.
The mobile sensation. Hey, friendo, a special too sweet from Barbados to you and your imaginary friend. I think this question is directed towards you.
It's for me. I can't even get a too sweet for my imaginary friend.
No.
That's what everything that I don't like about myself is embodied right here.
If that's the case, then I shouldn't too sweet you.
Kaufman's the one who came up with that.
I know. I was wondering both of your opinions on commercials during matches. I believe it breaks the immersion of the match and is also unnecessary since the Attitude Era never had any.
Is that true? Do we know that? Is that true?
I don't remember. I know on Nitro they used to have commercials during the main event. I remember that.
Yeah.
Would you prefer them going back to structuring their show in that style again, or are you fine the way things are with 2 to 3 commercials during matches?
I think. Oh, he says after
Oh,
the
yeah,
next
yeah.
performance, Chris Jericho is officially the most entertaining superstar in the WWE right now. I agree. Mobile sensation. I
don't mind having commercials during matches. I don't want them during the main event.
I agree with that completely. I've grown used to them at this point. I think there's a way. Like, okay, so sometimes there will be a commercial break during a match, and nobody on my Twitter feed at Real Going in Raw will say one thing. But when they're so obvious, like during the main event last night,
Yeah.
that was bad.
Yeah.
That was not good.
Yeah.
So
keep,
I think
keep them out of the main event.
Keep them out of the main event. I think you can do during a 6-man tag match that you know is going to go on forever. Put a couple of them in there. Who cares?
Yeah, that's fine. Sean Troush. Thoughts on the Emma vignette and what looks like a repackaging name change? Sean agrees with us.
Yeah.
Didn't see anything wrong with her heel persona from before she was injured. Agreed.
That was fine with it.
Yeah. TJ Lancaster. Now we have seen the women main event Raw and deliver. Who do you think we will see them? When do you think we will see the main event at pay-per-view? And who will be in it? And what pay-per-view will it be? It might be Hell in a Cell.
Might be Hell in a Cell. Could be.
That'd be great.
If you're going to do something, go all in on it.
I hope it happens.
Me too.
Marty Too Sweet. Hey, Steven Larson. So I sold my season ticket game this week when the Raiders play the Chargers and bought myself a ticket for No Mercy, so I'll see you there.
Nice.
So Larson, if I see you guys and I ask for a Too Sweet, would you do it?
He's not going to do that shit.
Nope. Second question. Are you guys getting the WWE 2K17 NXT edition? I looked this morning. I haven't pre-ordered.
Yeah.
I looked this morning on Amazon to see if you could still get the NXT edition. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I might have waited too long.
Yeah.
I'll do some more investigating soon, though. Andrew Piovani?
Yeah, I think so. Piovani.
The List. Greatest Jericho gimmick? The only thing I could think of that was better was two things.
Okay.
There is his original list,
Yes.
and there's also when he had his security detail.
Oh, yeah, Ralphus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great, too.
No, I agree with that, too. I think that there's been a lot of really, really good Jericho. I would say Nitro era Jericho. I would say the current Jericho that we're seeing. And probably, like, now that I've done some more research, I don't think I was really watching all that much back then, but now that I've retrospectively done some research on it, the 2007, 2009, whatever it was, when him and Shawn Michaels had that rivalry, led to some really good stuff.
Yeah. Clayton C. Call it, friendos. While the brand split wasn't perfect, it did a lot of good, like give more time and attention to both the U.S. and IC titles.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, which mid-card title do you think is more important to the respective brands given current storylines? That's a good question.
Let's see here.
I'm going to say the IC belt. And that's simply because there's
You know what, dude? I'm gonna say it's
one fewer belt on SmackDown.
It's a wash.
It kind of is, though.
It's like the IC belt and the US belts are so important to their respective brands now. You know, when both those belts are basically out of reach for the rest of the card.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it really is. You know, the second, like Roman Reigns is carrying the US belt right now.
I know.
And he was a world champion prior to this. He makes it great. The Miz has had basically career resurgence, and now they're putting the belt versus careers online.
I know.
It's really good stuff.
Yeah, it is. Thomas the Protractor Kalama. Aloha, friendos. Hi. Seeing that we are heading into our final two general election debates that unfortunately resemble a sense of WWE noir, what two WWE, WCW, or NWA superstars from the past or present would you like to see square off in a presidential debate? Thomas the Protractor would like to see Rick Rude versus Scott Steiner.
It's a good one. I'd want to see Dusty Rhodes and versus probably
Sid.
Sid. You give your two.
All right,
I'll
Sid.
give my two.
Sid versus Lex Luger.
That's terrible. I want to go. I mean, how can you go wrong with Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair? You know what I mean? I know it's an obvious answer.
No, it's a good answer.
But it's the perfect answer.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, put Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner literally did a debate, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was so bad. I'll say Scott Steiner and God, now I can't get Sid out of my head. God, yeah, Scott Steiner and Sid. But I want it to be Sid moments after he came off that top rope and broke his leg.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Okay.
Because, he kept it real at that point.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh, fuck, my leg. It's held together by a string.
I won't be able to play softball anymore.
I know.
Viv Banville. Rumors have been that this WrestleMania will be The Undertaker's last match. Thinking about that, would you like to see Taker choose a successor? Someone who can carry on the streak match, but their own. Create the same suspense of Cena breaking Flair's title record. Viv would like to see Finn Balor. Similar characters, and it creates another dimension to the demon character Thoughts. No more streaks.
No more streaks?
No more streaks.
Okay, no more streaks definitely I like that because it makes the number one, the Undertaker streak should never have been broken. It makes that streak even better. It makes it even, and we know that they like to meet and beat things.
Yeah,
WWE likes to do that, but
the streak should just be Undertakers and Undertakers alone.
Yeah, I mean, let's see here.
I mean, it's one thing if he were to kind of say, okay, to Finn Balor, hey, your demon character can now embody certain aspects of the Undertaker. Mm-hmm. Maybe something like that.
It's already ruined, but Bray Wyatt was the natural successor to the Undertaker.
Yeah,
you know, he really was, and they already in that respect, there's no going back.
No,
because they've already messed it up.
Imagine if Undertaker had beaten Brock at WrestleMania and Bray was the one to break the streak.
I know.
How incredible that would have been.
Yeah.
And then they could have done that.
Yeah.
But Andrew Wormley, what's up, friendo? So whenever they start mixing up the cruiserweights with the rest of the roster, what rivalries would you like to see, and what titles do you think they would go for? I think we both assume it'll be a couple years, probably before they'll have cruiserweights take on non-cruiserweights.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. Right now I want to keep the cruiserweight division those guys. Once you start mixing up you get into some territory where we have a lot to say about Raw in terms of how it could be done better, perhaps. We try to stay positive, but the bottom line is we try to be honest more than anything. We always try to find the silver lining.
Yes.
One of the really good things right now is that the cruiserweight division is the cruiserweight division. It is their own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to see them mix it up with anybody else.
I would like to eventually, because I think there's some wrestlers in the cruiserweight division that have true breakout potential.
You're going to see guys like Cedric Alexander move on, move up and on.
Yeah.
But I just don't want. I want that to be, a farm system maybe for the rest of it. Something like that. I don't know. I just like it right now the way it is.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Matt Chapman. Is there a better heel in online wrestling journalism than heel Larson? Matt would put him up against Adam Blampied and King Ross from What Culture as the greatest of all time.
I'm starting to think that heel Larson might actually be Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
I think that's our answer. You played your hand too soon, Matt. But that was pretty funny. I know you were tickled by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's taken on its own thing.
It has.
Yeah.
Matthew Eaton. Good evening, friendos.
Hello.
Are you concerned about the value of the women's title with the second drop on free TV? While it makes for a great story, it certainly doesn't feel as powerful the second time around.
I don't disagree necessarily with this one. I disagree with the idea of it dropping on free TV. I like titles being changed.
Yeah, I do too. I don't necessarily think it lessens the value of the women's title.
There's an element of, we saw this a couple months ago.
Yeah.
There is an element of that. But also the fact that we saw it a couple months ago made it kind of more unpredictable last night because it's like, we're not going to do this.
Yeah, they're not going to do that again. You wouldn't think, but then they did. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
Thomas Powell. I heard you guys talking about your fantasy football league last week, sorry. I was wondering who's on your roster and who's your favorite player from the past or present. His is Dak Prescott because he played at Mississippi State University, and that is where Thomas Powell goes to school.
Nice. Yeah, I beat you this week.
You did.
You going to raise my hand?
Nope.
Raise my hand. I beat you. I raise your hand left and right, dude. Come on.
Mm-mm.
Any little victory is a big one. Come on.
Nope.
You going to raise my hand?
Nope.
But I won.
I don't care.
My victory hand.
I won our the Friendo Fantasy Baseball League. I won the championship.
That's not even. Literally nobody was playing that. You and Ulysses, that was it. Nobody was doing anything there.
A win is a win. Who's your favorite football player from the past or present?
Oh, I don't really care.
Randall Cunningham.
There you go.
That was mine.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Okay.
Have no emotional attachment. I enjoy football. I watch it kind of in the background, although this weekend I kind of zoned out a little bit and watched some. But there's no Sacramento team. There isn't, so I vaguely root for the Niners. Don't even know their record right now. It's probably like 500.
I think they're 1-3.
Really? They've only one game? Well, okay. Could care less.
Steve Allisey. I can see it now. Charlotte will blame Dana Brooke for getting hurt before the main event. Dana will cost Charlotte the title in the rematch. Sasha will move on to Nia Jax as her next challenger, and they will keep Charlotte busy with Dana for a while. Is this how you see it as well?
No, because there's no Bailey in that equation.
Yeah.
I see Dana Bailey probably next.
Yeah.
After Hell in a Cell, what's Charlotte going to do, though? Maybe it's Charlotte Dana Brooke.
Could be, or Charlotte Bailey.
Charlotte Bailey could be Charlotte Bailey, yeah. Bailey has to be in there somewhere, Steve. So you got to find a way to put her in the equation. Then give us a new one next week.
We can't forget about Emelina either, because she's going to be involved in there somewhere.
They're thinking there's too many heels. They need a face. That's why they're re-debuting Emelina.
Well, we don't know if she's going to be heel or face yet.
That's it. That's a face thing, what they did. I think that's a face thing. Because they got too many heels. Nia Jax, Charlotte, Dana Brooke.
Dana, yeah.
Although Dana could change any moment. But
Yeah.
Dana's a B-plus player.
And she's a better heel anyways.
Yeah, she is.
Dylan Caraballo. Hey, friendos. Who do you think has the best chance of taking the U.S. belt off Roman? Besides Rusev or turning Reigns heel, I can't think of anybody that makes sense.
You know, the only guy that's at that level that's not doing anything right now is Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
But obviously they're not going to have him take on Roman Reigns.
Apart from Jericho, I have a really hard time coming up with a heel competitor for Reigns.
I know, me too, which is why Jericho makes a lot of sense. But he hasn't even really been dancing around that scene. Nobody has. It's been in a vacuum. So, I don't know. I mean,
Which has been to the benefit of that feud, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. I mean, I like that. And we'll find out. I don't know. I mean, that's the only intriguing thing is where do these guys go after this?
Yeah.
You know?
Lucas Coward Marshall. Howdy, friendos. Which feature in WWE 2K17 are you most looking forward to playing?
Okay, well, I have two answers for this. One answer I can give. The other answer we cannot give.
Okay.
Many of you probably saw the
Match of the century.
Groundbreaking.
Is that your stomach?
That's my tummy.
Wow, we need to get some lunch after this.
2K16 matchup. Mecha Santa, after I think like an 8-month title reign,
Sounds right.
dropped the title to the most immaculate character I've ever seen with the worst name. It's
name.
amazing.
It's a great name.
How your design sense was far surpassed anything I ever would have expected from you. But your name, you know, usually you're not good with names, so I'm not going to say I ever expect anything good at a name.
I think all the names I've created thus far have been pretty good.
Grumbles Duker is no Mecha Santa. Thick Balls is no Mecha Santa.
When you saw Thick Balls the first time, the first thing you said was, "That's a great name." It's the very first thing you said.
I think I meant that in an ironic fashion.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe Top Notch Super Best is supposed to be delightfully bad.
Okay,
the name.
All right. I don't think that's true, but
No, it is true.
look, full props to your character. He's not even like
He's the future.
well, literally. I think he's a being, an entity, a deity. He's a force of nature, and he looks like a force of nature. Anyways, he got the H belt.
The top prize.
The top prize
in Friendo Unified Championship
in
Wrestling.
Fuck wrestling. So we've got some, you know, the story might continue. We got some plans
Yeah.
to take it where it hasn't been before. Beyond that, I'm looking for the my career mode.
Yeah.
I want to be a Paul Heyman guy. We tried to be Paul Heyman guys during our initial run through,
Yeah.
and we could not find Paul Heyman. So we're gonna look for Paul Heyman some more.
Yep. Tyler Gray. Hey, friendos.
Hi.
I thought Rollins during the Jericho match showed a lot more of the intensity he has been lacking of late.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice change to see him somewhat embracing his face role. You think he's finally heard something to get excited about storyline-wise? I don't know.
I don't think I didn't really see it. To be honest with you, didn't really see it.
I mean, compared to the interview with Cole, he showed
yeah,
boundless intensity.
yeah,
But that was just because he showed basically zero intensity during his interview with Cole.
yeah. I don't know. I just there's not even when he walks down to the ring, he just sort of he doesn't saunter. Reigns saunters.
He doesn't have the sense of purpose that Stone Cold had.
Yeah,
And maybe,
and
you know,
that's a hard comparison.
And maybe it's unfair of us to make that comparison.
Probably is. But, you know, if you're that elite of a superstar, which I think Seth Rollins can be, You know, I honestly,
You know what I think it is? I think we see the potential for for that kind of
Yeah.
character in Seth Rollins.
But also, dude, you know what I think a bit of it is? I'll be honest with you. I think a bit of it is, and I've said this before. Who did I compare Seth Rollins? I said Seth Rollins is Eddie Guerrero minus like 15 years of just actual life experience. Being married to Vicky Guerrero, having a ton of kids, doing things, going to the store. Why are you about to throw up all over me or something? What the hell's going on over there?
Had a burp attack.
Oh my God, you're
Sorry.
about to puke up all over Going in Raw. Stone Cold, by the time he went out on top. The rest of his career was just on top, basically. He already had a plethora. And I know Rollins has been around.
Yeah.
But Austin went through a lot of ups and downs trying to get there. I feel like from Tyler Black on through Seth Rollins, it's been an upwards trajectory. He's been very successful from a very young start.
Yeah.
And I think Stone Cold went through a lot of time just figuring it all out.
Yeah.
And I don't think Seth has really had to figure it out because he's been money along a lot of the way. But Stone Cold had that sense of purpose. Like he was holding on to this thing and he wasn't letting go. I think Seth might lack that idea of this can go away at any time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stone Cold, man, and this is pure speculation. No idea if this is the case. It's the feeling I get watching this stuff and being as old as I am. Stone Cold seemed like an old dude who was holding on to it and brought it every single night, regardless of what he was fed.
That could be.
Seth just maybe might lack that sense of perspective in his life. I don't know. I'm grasping for straws here.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Eddie Men. Hey,
Eddie
friendos.
Men.
New patron here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie.
Eddie Men's question is, when do you guys think we will get to see women's division matches like Money in the Bank and cage matches? Tonight's Raw's main event showed that the women can deliver great matches just like men can. We knew that already, though. We knew that the women could deliver
Oh yeah, for sure.
5-star matches.
I think
We might see a cage match at Hell in a Cell.
I think that something like Money in the Bank is difficult simply because the women's division is far fewer. It's got less of a population than the men.
Yeah.
So
If they had the entire women's division on one brand, they could do it.
yeah.
But having the division split.
You know what though? I don't know. They could on SmackDown. I could see them doing that because they've got, they did stuff like the scramble, the
Six-pack challenge. Yeah.
They've done stuff like that. They can
Yeah.
bust out the Money in the Bank thing for them.
Yeah, they could.
It'd
James
be
Garcia.
easier on SmackDown than Raw.
Yeah, James Garcia. Hey, friendos. Just want your thoughts on the possibility of Foley being fired as GM of Raw with Braun Strowman, now another superstar, being frustrated with his matches and possibly causing destruction on a weekly basis, interfering with matches.
I don't think they're gonna fire him anytime
Yeah,
soon.
Foley's not going to be
Yeah,
fired.
he's not going anywhere.
No. Carlos Hackworth. What's up, friendos?
Hello.
Raw was average for the most part, as always. I know you and I would change things if working in WWE. What department or job would you want in WWE? Carlos would say between creative and general manager with freedom to say whatever on TV.
Carlos wants to get out there and speak his mind. Wow. My goodness.
If you could have any job in WWE, what would it be?
All right.
I want to hear your answer because I think when I read this question, I had an answer pop in my head for you. And I want to see if you're going to say that answer.
All right. I mean, honestly, the only thing. Okay, you know how on WWE.com sometimes they show off like sketches of their outfits, like designing characters?
Yeah.
I'd want that job.
I thought you'd want to design merch for WWE Shop.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that one. Yeah, no. Oh, God, yeah. I can totally do that. Yeah. Yeah, you know me better than I know myself. How about you? What do you want?
I think I want to work in the music department.
Yeah.
Finding songs that work for characters.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
Chandler 3 Productions. What's going on, friendos?
Hello.
My question might seem insensitive, but do you think advertising charities on WWE TV is getting old and repetitive? Every once in a while is good, but it seems like every month or two we hear about a different charity. I know this is something Stephanie McMahon does, but it is, in my opinion, killing the mood or pace.
You
of the
know,
show. Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree. It leads to situations where the show literally becomes enveloped by enveloped by their charities. So you get things like Naomi running out and doing like a little cowgirl ride. Like this happened a couple weeks ago. Connor's Cure logo is there on the ground. She comes out and starts like basically kind of humping the ground. Like, she's on her and she's humping the Connor's Cure logo. It kind of looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
That ends up being awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Your entire show is being branded with this stuff. I love it. They're raising money for it. I think there's possibly a more subtle way to do it in some instances. The Susan G. Komen thing last night could have been on the website. You know what I mean? That could have been on their YouTube channel as opposed to being on Raw.
Every year when they launch that campaign, though, they have a ceremony of some sort on Raw.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of get your point. Like it's sometimes they just wrap the show up in it. And it gets to be a little bit much. But if it's like for a good cause, who am I to complain? You know what I mean? Like, what do I care? It's entertainment. What does it matter? But, if you're going to be picky about things, which he's asking us to do, yeah, I can see it a little bit. What do you think?
I guess for the most part, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
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 It's like if it's for a good cause, so.
Yeah.
Nicholas Viola. The man with the plan, Nick Viola here.
Is that the name of your title, Nick?
I get the sneaking suspicion that the Titus brand gimmick is going to be dead on arrival. Is there a gimmick that you could see working for Titus? And also, we got his name right last
Viola.
week, sorry.
Is there a gimmick you could see working for Titus?
I like the idea of the Titus brand gimmick.
I love the idea of Titus just being used to talk shit to Ryback. The Titus brand. Feed me more. Hi, how's it going?
What was Titus's catchphrase last night?
Feed me more. Oh, it was something about a win. Find a way to win or something like that. I don't know. I forget what it was, but he said hashtag something win.
Yeah.
Forget what it was. But it came off as feed me more-ish.
Yeah.
It did. I think it's a slam on Ryback. I really do.
Could be. Adrian Stroop. Hey, friendos. If you could be the best man at any superstar's wedding, past or present, who would it be and why? It's a good question.
If I could be the best man at any superstar's
So you got to think
wedding.
essentially, which wrestler would you want as your best friend?
Yeah, of course. Oh. All right. Go ahead.
No, I'm still thinking.
All right.
I have too many possibilities in my mind.
The one that stands out to me right now, Alberto Del Rio. I'd want to be there because I get to see Paige. And then sometimes you hear things about like, oh, did you hear about the best man and the bride? They snuck off. But then there's also like stabbings. Ben, it's Alberto. It kind of reminds me of like a dad. So he'd be like, where's the ring, pero? And I'm like, oh, shit, Alberto, I don't know. And on top of that, it's like probably like a Mexican wedding. And I have no idea but I know that, they probably throw amazing parties. I've seen some quinceañeras that were probably pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. Probably be amazing.
Okay.
That makes me really want some Mexican food right now. Come on, man, give me an answer.
I thought of Ric Flair.
You're gonna say Ryback because it's catered by El Pollo Loco. No.
I thought Ric
Who
Flair.
would marry Ryback? That'd be weird.
I don't know. Magnum TA.
Yeah. Okay.
The names I thought of. For some reason, I just keep thinking Kevin Owens.
You really want to be his friend.
I do.
You really want to be his friend.
I feel like we have a lot in common.
If we ever get the opportunity to interview Kevin, I'm gonna tell him that. I'm gonna say he really wants to be your best friend. He feels like you and him have a lot in common. So let's take a look. Let's run it down.
I don't know. I just kind of feel that way.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, am I wrong?
Well, I guess what you're asking is how much do I like? You and I are best friends, so like, basically, you want to replace me with Kevin Owens, but then there'd have to be some sort of common ground between me and Kevin Owens. I mean, like
Why?
this has worked.
Oh, you mean in terms of personality?
This has worked for a long time, and so I feel like in that respect, we could be switched out, is what you're saying. Like this has worked, so that would work.
See, but I think it works because we complement each other, not necessarily because we're so similar.
Oh, I know we're not similar,
but I feel like, and I could be completely off base with this.
Do you really think you would get along with somebody like you? No, you wouldn't.
You don't think so?
No, of course not. I wouldn't get along with somebody like me. Oh my God, that'd be horrible. That'd be so obnoxious. A couple of me's, that'd be horrible. I'd hate that.
I don't know.
Really get away from me.
I don't know. We'll see.
Get away from me, second Steve. Nobody needs you around.
Next.
Be all bugging me to too sweet him all the time. Like, okay, dude, enough of the too sweets.
Yeah. Yeah, then you know how I feel finally.
Next.
Hardcore champion, Jericho Kunzman. Hey, friendos, my question is, who do you think Braun Strowman's opponent is? He thinks that WCPW Big Damo.
Big Damo. Big Damo!
Because the rumor is that he signed with WWE.
Big Damo! Their first pay-per-view's coming up.
Yeah, on Thursday.
WCPW on Thursday, yeah. I was checking out.
Yeah. Justin England commented on this question, and he said that would be awesome, but he thinks that it'll be Luke Harper.
Oh,
That's a good answer.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even think about that. Luke Harper.
I didn't until I read it.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, shit.
But that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be rad. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. Who else?
And that's honestly, that's the only way you can do Luke Harper properly to come out on Raw. It's the only way you can do it. I like it. That's good.
Patrick Sparks. Who would you rather have Would you rather have Jim Cornette criticize you every time you screw up in the slightest for 3 months?
Yes.
Or have Vince Russo be your secretary and control all your bookings?
I would love for Jim Cornette to criticize me every 3 days. That'd be great. Can we just have that in perpetuity? I'd love to have Vince Russo on the show. I've been thinking about that. We should try to get him on.
Okay.
Because here's the thing about Vince Russo. I feel his biggest failures in our eyes were when he was most visible.
Yeah.
Booking himself as champion.
Yeah.
Booking David Arquette as champion.
Yeah.
Which he has defended.
I know.
And his obsession with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
But I want to know what he feels his biggest accomplishments are, because I think that he was behind a lot of really, really good stuff in the Attitude Era. And that's all stuff that he couldn't visibly take credit for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was, whose idea? Was it Vince Russo's or Vince McMahon's? What did Vince Russo pitch that McMahon might have turned down?
Yeah.
What did he come up with that was really good? Because I think there was a lot of really good that he did that we simply, and granted, I know there's probably a plethora of shoot interviews out there. There's his podcast out there.
Yeah.
He probably did a lot of really good things that justified him being hired on as the lead guy at WCW.
I think just as fascinating as an answer to that question would be what he thinks his most significant failure
Yeah, what he
was.
thinks. Yeah, totally.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. So I think there's a really interesting discussion to be had there with Vince Russo, and we have an audience, and he could promote his show here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Next question. Colin. Hey, friendos, new patron making his first contribution to the Q&A. Hello and thank you.
Thank you, Colin.
And I'm already going to go partially off topic from Raw, and for that, I'm sorry. I'm really liking TJ Perkins' retro video game theme song and think CFO has been coming out with some really great theme songs of late. They have.
True.
Excluding Bobby Roode's and Shinsuke's theme songs, which one is your favorite, and which one doesn't fit the wrestler it's attached to? Favorite of his is Ember Moon's, and the least fitting theme would be Nia Jax.
I completely agree with the Nia Jax one. Sounds like a pop song.
It does, but the lyrics fit.
Yeah, I know, but the music is just...
Favorite, I think, is Asuka's.
You saw my answer. I was going to go with that too.
Asuka's is great.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I have that on my phone. It's on a playlist. 'Cause I'm a nerd.
Which wrestler's song doesn't fit? Which is it? Blake or Murphy that has that?
Oh my God! What is that?
That chill techno song.
It is the most chill thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that one doesn't fit. Zachary, that chair needs to be fixed, man.
Big time, I know.
Zachary Bueller. If you were to take the Friendoverse and give them current WWE belts, who would receive what belts?
See, the problem is we're going to exclude somebody. And
I know.
it's going to be a bummer.
The Friendoverse is so vast.
Well, Matthew Williams already has the Western States Heritage belt.
Did you see that's on eBay?
What?
Yeah.
Are you? How much?
Are
you serious?
I think $280. I don't know if it's the Western Heritage belt, but someone on our Twitter posted that on eBay there's a Western States belt for $280. You gotta put belt.
Okay, belt.
Championship.
Oh shit! I just hit their Halloween sale. Oh, here we go. Back on it. Title.
There it is.
Whoa.
Was it the name of the doctor that had it?
The doctor, and I looked him up too. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't find him anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Terry. Or
Oh,
something
okay.
like
That's
that.
something else. Is that the actual belt? Oh, wait. Hold on. Go back up. Oh, never mind. There's 5 available. That's not the original.
Still. Hold on, let's see. Licensed belt by Dave. So I think it's
okay.
officially licensed.
That's not the real deal, though.
It's not the actual one.
Nope.
We have to get in contact with Dr. Terry. Still, having a replica would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool, but you're right. I
If
know.
it was like the actual thing, we could buy off eBay right now for $280. That's really tempting.
Right.
All right, next question. Kyle Ulysses.
Yeah.
Hey guys. First off, congrats Larson on sending Mecha Santa into early retirement and capturing the H belt. Thank you. Now, was it just me, or did anyone else think that Strowman's opponent was Adam Cole at first glance?
Oh yeah, everybody did. Everybody thought it was fat Adam Cole. Yeah. I didn't think it was just because he was fat, but it definitely looked like him.
Yeah, he looked a lot like him. Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
With Sasha getting the belt back, do you think the WWE will set up a Bayley angle or push a Charlotte Nia Jax program, or will Dana get fed to Nia? It'll probably be Sasha Nia after Hell in a Cell, I would think, if Sasha retains. For a couple months, and then they can start building towards Sasha Bayley for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Damon Cruz. Hey, friendos. Since you guys are obviously the best wrestling podcast today,
It says so in our intro.
you can spread the love to other wrestling podcasters. Which other podcasts would you guys like to be a guest on? I hear Chris Jericho has an okay podcast, and here Steve Austin himself has one as well. Damon Cruz would love to be on a talking shop with Gallows and Anderson. Do they have their own show?
Do they have their own show? Really?
I don't know.
Really? That'd be cool.
What other podcast would you guys like to guest on?
Vince Russo's the brand. No, I want him on our show.
Yeah.
I want all these guys on our show because I want to, like, if they're on our show, we're asking questions. If we're on their show, they're asking questions.
Yeah.
Why would they want to ask questions of us?
Yeah.
We're a couple of jackasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Steve and Larson, I got a question for you. I don't know what his question would be. I don't know what Steve Austin would say.
I'll say Dude Soup.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It'd be fun to be on
That'd
Dude
be,
Soup.
yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Old friendos. You
Yep.
know?
Jamie 10. Hey, friendos. After seeing talents like Sami Zayn and Neville being underutilized on Raw and guys like Corbin, Kalisto, and Cruz on SmackDown, what trade do you feel would most benefit both brands and superstars? If I'm an underutilized talent, I don't want to be traded to Raw.
Oh, I know, exactly.
Because odds are you're just going to be underutilized there too.
What trade will benefit both brands? I mean, I would say somehow find a way for Sami Zayn, hell, and Neville. I think the fact is they're not being used on Raw, and they would be so much money on SmackDown. That would
Especially Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luke, with titles being won and lost on Raw, such as the women's title last night, what in your opinion is the current rationality of having pay-per-views? Luke believes most of the time pay-per-views in the past would be used to culminate a storyline, or in some cases be used to further one, but it seems there's been more of the latter recently. Given they have a 3-hour show to pan out storylines, it seems having no payoff or finality for pay-per-views is WWE's current model and are nothing more than themed occasions with the shock and awe aspect.
I don't necessarily disagree with that.
You Usually,
But you don't see title changes that often.
no, and usually pay-per-views, they, in terms of the quality of the matches, they're better.
Yeah, they tend to bring it a bit more.
Yeah. And storylines do reach conclusions at
Yeah, I mean,
pay-per-views,
look,
especially the major ones.
At Clash, we had the Club versus the New Day. New Day have moved on. Club's moved on.
Yeah.
Cesaro, Sheamus, that had a finality at Clash.
Yeah.
They've moved on to do something different to pivot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I kind of see what you're saying. Okay, I mean, here's the thing. The bad parts of certain pay-per-views do feel like there are parts of Clash that just felt like another Raw.
Yeah.
But there are parts that felt like pay-per-views. So, they still have their purpose.
Yeah. JT Blaze. Hey, friendos, new subscriber here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, do you guys think that WWE will continue to keep the U.S. title belt on Roman, or will he drop it to Rusev at Hell in a Cell? I like that Roman is being pushed as a mid-carder, but I feel like the belt worked better with a heel like Rusev holding it and having baby faces like Reigns trying to take it. Also, who else do you think deserves a U.S. title shot in the near future?
I mean, once a face gets a title, there's always that sort of like, okay, what are they going to do now? It's the chase that makes it.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree that I prefer Rusev with the belt. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Reigns is going to keep it.
If, by some chance, Rusev were to reclaim the title, Sami Zayn seems like
Yeah.
a logical opponent.
Yeah.
Chris Harris. Hey, friendos. Hi. With TNA's ownership up in the air, I got Chris Harris thinking about WWE's old purchases. His question, would a network-only ECW work in today's wrestling climate? And he's not talking about the watered-down shit that WWE first pulled. He's talking about old-school ECW with some of the WWE rules put in place, like no chair shots to the dome. If yes, pick someone from all three brands that could compete well on that brand. That's from Wildcat.
A lot of moving pieces here.
Wildcat Chris Harris, and you're welcome.
Okay, so would a network-only ECW work in today's wrestling climate? I mean, you kind of see that with NXT a little bit. I mean, that's
Well, in terms of how the crowd embraces the show, yes.
Yeah.
But not in terms of the style of wrestling. And I think that's what he's asking.
he says some of the WWE rules put in place in there. No chair shots to the head.
But you can still put people through tables. You could probably still do some of the extreme spots.
I mean, I guess I don't necessarily understand the nature of the question. I mean, if the question is, will a smaller promotion work on the network?
I don't think it would, just because NXT is already there.
No, well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
My
It's too
thing
much,
is,
yeah.
we already see that with NXT. Now, if your question is, they want to revive ECW, put it on the network, no hair, no headshots, no blood, would that work? You're already doing that with NXT. Like, NXT is already sort of the developmental. So to say what you about ECW, I know they had their own thing going, but a lot of that was, Vince McMahon funneling money to them so they get, develop talent, bring them up to the big leagues.
Yeah.
So in several aspects, NXT is already like ECW was, without sort of, I mean, they sort of don't develop story. Well, I don't know.
I don't think it would. I don't think it would be a viable.
I mean, you can't do
program for the network.
Look, here's the problem with this. The whole premise of this question, the WWE rules would preclude ECW basically from existing.
Pretty much.
So if you're conceding that the WWE rules would have to be put in place, then you can't have ECW the way I remember ECW. When Francine would come out, and half the time she'd be wearing a thong, and you see her ass. Those things you can't get away with. Those
You can't
things.
do that anymore.
So no,
No.
it wouldn't. But NXT, I think, is a worthy sort of spiritual successor in today's climate. Is my point. So take that for what you will.
The Real Psycho Sid. Let me ask both of you, who makes it on your list of Steve or your list of Larson? For Sid, it's creative for Raw. If management was smart, they would have Chris Jericho in charge of creative. How funny would it be when a writer comes up with a terrible idea and you can call them a stupid idiot?
Oh, there you go.
Who makes the list of Steve?
Shit, I don't know. My list is pretty short. I'm a pretty happy guy.
I'm even just in wrestling.
In wrestling, who's on
Yeah.
my list?
Yeah.
Any writer who can't come up with anything for Sami Zayn? Sin Cara. Don't really care about him.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to shit on anybody.
Really.
Everybody gets a thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a list. I'm like my problem is my problem right now is I think Raw has a couple of guys who aren't being utilized.
Yep.
And I think they should go to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because look, within a couple months, SmackDown's rotating storylines are gonna be they're gonna stagnate.
Yeah.
I don't know what they can do with them.
I know.
Put AJ and The Miz in a program because Dolph's gonna have that IC belt.
Maybe. Smapty Jones. Hola, friendos. This is an interesting question.
Okay.
Which wrestler would you keep and which would you delete from history?
Wow.
There's 7 scenarios.
Okay.
Number 1,
Okay.
The Rock or Triple H?
Which wrestler would you keep? Which would you delete?
I'd keep The Rock.
Oh, I would delete The Rock. Triple H.
Okay.
Who would people feud against back in the Attitude Era? Nobody. Triple H. He stays.
2.
And no NXT without Triple H.
2, John Cena or Shawn Michaels?
Oh, delete John Cena.
Yes. 3, Stone Cold
Okay.
or The Undertaker?
The problem with that is who's going to sell merchandise. Stone
Stone Cold. You keep Stone Cold.
Yeah, you keep Stone Cold.
Keep Stone
I
Cold.
mean, I know it's The Undertaker, but
This one might be the toughest one. 4, CM Punk or Kurt Angle?
I would have said this. I would have said keep Kurt Angle if he had stayed in the WWE. Otherwise, delete.
I have to keep Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a wash then.
5, Chris Jericho or Edge?
All that time wasted in TNA.
I know.
Chris Jericho versus Edge.
Keep Chris Jericho.
Oh, yeah. Keep Chris Jericho. Are you kidding me?
6, Daniel Bryan or Eddie Guerrero?
I'm sorry, Daniel Bryan. Delete.
Yeah.
Delete.
Eddie Guerrero. Last one, Kevin Owens or AJ Styles?
Delete Kevin Owens.
No, Kevin Owens stays.
But you too sweeted AJ Styles. The only person I've ever seen you too sweet.
Well, you never saw it.
You too sweeted AJ Styles.
You never saw
he
it.
did. He totally did. I did see it.
You didn't see
My
anything.
periphery does count.
You didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Dan Boss. Hey, friendos. Boss here.
Hey! Hi. Welcome to Job. I'm Dan Boss. Good to have you aboard. I'm glad you're here. Feed me more.
To say it sounds like Ryback.
Yeah, Dan Boss's new voice is Ryback.
So Chris Jericho is Dan Boss's favorite wrestler of all time, in his opinion. He's been doing some of his best work recently.
I agree.
Dan Boss thinks he could have one more last run as Universal Champion if booked correctly.
I agree.
You think if booked properly, Y2J could get a 7th world title, man.
It's not out of the possibility. I think it's probably not going to happen, but he's a Kevin Owens and a Seth Rollins injury away from being it right now.
I don't even think an injury is necessary for like a one-day reign. Win it at a pay-per-view, drop it the next day.
I don't think it's likely. I don't
think it's likely
I'll put it
either.
this way. 2 injuries is more likely to happen than him being booked to win the title.
Yeah, probably. Jake Woodthorpe. Hey, friendos. With Chris Jericho reportedly ending his last run on December 26th or somewhere near, how do you think the best way is to write him off? Would WWE go as far as to stick the belt on him for a month? How about this?
Okay.
After the Rollins-Owens feud ends, maybe there's a Owens-Zayn feud for November. In December, maybe Jericho gets his hands on that Universal title, and then Owens wins it right back and absolutely destroys Chris Jericho. Multiple power bombs on the apron.
Yeah.
Write him off that way.
I like it. I like that a lot.
After, they feud for the entire month of December.
It's good.
That'd be good. The Base Hit King. I know you guys will be at No Mercy in Sacramento, but will you also be making the commute to see Raw in Oakland or SmackDown in San Jose? Unfortunately, no.
No, we're not. No.
Too much to do.
Too much to do.
Mike, I know you all want Roman Reigns to quit wearing the vest, so what do you think his attire should be if he ever turns heel?
Simply,
I'm fine with everything else. Just lose the vest.
Yeah, I'm not even. No, if
you don't like the pants, I know, but that doesn't bother me.
Black trunks.
Justin England, hey friendos, newly crowned NWA World Brass Knuckles champ here.
That was a real thing too.
I know there are some questions as to how much crowd noise is manipulated, but is it just me or does the crowd seem particularly dead during Cruiserweight matches? Second part to the question, do you think the Cruiserweight Classic taking part in front of the Full Sail crowd, which is very different from the main show crowd, gave a false sense of excitement that would accompany this division?
I think it's more a case of the stakes involved. I think number one, yes, the Full Sail crowd does add that to it. But on top of that, we're just getting the main roster crowd is still getting to know these guys.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Keenan the Crazy. Keenan the Crazy has mad respect for the Samoan dynasty.
Okay.
He has respect for the Great One. He fears the son of Rikishi, Jimmy and Jey Uso. But Roman is the only factor that Keenan the Crazy can't get behind, and he doesn't know why.
Oh, dear.
Is he, Roman, on the right path? Keenan can't even see where he could be in this dynasty. Both The Rock and the Usos had to turn heel to become something better. Is this something that Roman must do as well to become great?
Yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to do it, though. But I agree with you.
They've had multiple opportunities to do it.
Yeah.
Just within the last 6 months, and they haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Which I think they should have.
Yeah.
Brigadoon. Hey, friendos. New patron. Loved the show. Thank you. TV and movie writers often talk about adversity or external constraints being one thing that can help them drive better writing. That seems to be borne out in current WWE programming. On one hand, we have Raw, which is blessed with much of the big-name talent and a 3-hour time slot, but sluggish writing. On the other hand is SmackDown, which tightly packs their 2-hour time slot, making the best of their smaller pool of big names, supplemented with interesting storylines for their mid-card talent. What adversity or constraints would you put on Raw to force the writing staff to think outside the box?
Rotating wrestler schedules time off, because then they'd be forced into finite storylines because, okay, this guy's going to be out of here in 2 months. Write him off in a good way. So that would add some level of creative sort of motivation for their writers. So that's one idea.
Yeah, that's not bad. Jason the Cabbie. How do you do, friendos?
He is the 3-time participation ribbon recipient. Please.
I should have.
Much respect.
My apologies for not saying that.
Much respect.
As a quick aside, Jason watched the Hardys Decay match from Sunday at Bound for Glory.
The Great War.
And while it was kind of entertaining, I finally see what you guys mean, and there's just something strange about seeing hardcore-type matches in this age. Did you see
I didn't.
The gif of Hardy doing the swanton off the ladder onto some guy on a table?
No.
He seemed apprehensive about doing it.
Oh, Jesus.
Just like his body language. I couldn't really see his face.
Terrifying.
Like something that should have stayed in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Anyways, question time. While the matches on this week's Raw weren't terrible, it just feels like the order of them made the show drag. Using the same matches and only deleting the weakest ones, how would you two, as Jason refuses to believe that Larson is an imaginary conspiracy, I am very real, how would we have rebooked the show? Just taking out matches.
Taking out. I mean, order them drag using the same matches, only deleting the weakest ones. How would you?
I mean, I guess you could get rid of the Club versus Golden Truth.
Yeah, but you need to establish the Club.
I know. It's like all of these matches had a purpose.
They all have a purpose. I mean, look, the show. You have 3 hours. It's going to be a mess. And there's a huge difference between 2 hours and 3 hours. There's a massive difference there. So, I mean, the order of the matches is fine.
Yeah, and they all serve a purpose. It just, there's 3 hours is a lot of time to fill.
Yeah, and next time, Jason, he's one of our patrons, one of our $20 patrons, or $50 patrons. Give us a video question. I love his video questions.
Yeah. Cheese Man. Got a few questions from the Twitter.
Okay.
Do you see Sami Zayn getting a title push before or after Mania? Which title is best?
I really want to see him in a U.S. title push.
Yeah.
Or if I had my druthers, an IC title push over on SmackDown.
Yeah. I agree with that. Ronan Cahill. Hey, friendos. What are the chances of Raw doing a twist and having Mick Foley as the one in cahoots with Triple H?
I'd love it. I think it'd be great.
Yeah. JC Ramirez. Where's Neville? Do you think he's been a holdout for a future Cruiserweight champ opportunity? I think he's eligible.
No, he's not, because he's not being brought in as part of the Cruiserweight division. And from what I understand right now, they're only doing that.
Nate Morris. Do you guys think the WWE used Sasha Charlotte in the main event for Raw to see how well a main event on a pay-per-view might do?
Yes. Yes.
Jordan Walsh. Are you guys going to the Rumble next year?
I don't think so.
No, probably not.
I don't think so.
When there was rumors that it was going to be in LA, we were all ready to go.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
But with it in San Antonio,
probably not. I kind of want to watch it with Hilton anyways.
Yeah.
Watching the Rumble, you have to watch it with Hilton.
That's his favorite show of the year.
It's his favorite show of the year.
He loves it.
And then, like, I think he keeps up with Raw. I think he watches Raw. So having to explain half of the show to him also is pretty entertaining. But watching Hilton mark out for people, whenever that it gets down to like 5, he gets so excited, and it's hard not to be excited by that.
I know. You know, they just need to have the Rumble in Sacramento sometimes.
Oh, I know.
And then we can watch it live and still have that experience with Hilton. Yeah. I got a couple of video questions.
Okay.
First one from Patrick Sparks.
All right, let's see what he says.
Friendos, Pat here. So, I like Andrade Cien Almas, but I don't really like his finisher whatsoever. It just looks weird and uncomfortable, and I don't like it. So, what would you give him as a finisher, and what do you think would suit him the most as his character? I don't know. I just don't like the double knees. It's weird, and no, get rid of it. Thanks, friends.
Thanks, Patrick. I thought for sure his question was going to be, what wrestler did you really like but hated their finisher? So I'm going to ask you that first. What wrestler did you really like but you hated their finisher? Here's my answer. I never liked CM Punk's Go to Sleep. It's so awkward. I kind of like when Hideo Itami does it now, because I think, understanding that I think he was like the guy who kind of brought it to the table in the first place.
Yeah.
I think it suits him better. But I never liked it on CM Punk. I never liked it. Raven's Even Flow. It was just a DDT.
Yeah.
In that day and age, by the time the 90s rolled around, or the late 90s rolled around, why are you doing a DDT as a finisher?
I know.
You know what I mean?
They really had that move in their arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, and granted, we've only seen him wrestle a couple matches in NXT.
Okay.
Bobby Roode's pump handle slam.
Yeah.
It's just kind of okay.
Pump handle slam shouldn't be finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, but anyways, his actual what finisher would better suit Andrade Cien? You know what? Since he seems to be buddy with Alberto Del Rio, then I always liked Alberto Del Rio's like weird, he jumps over a guy and ends up in an armbar.
Oh, yeah.
I always really liked that. It always looks really cool.
Yeah.
That.
Okay.
He'll take that.
Okay. Next question from Ulysses. Commissioner Ulysses.
He's first place. Friend of fantasy football right now.
I know.
Bummer. Let's see what Ulysses has to say.
It's your friendo verse commissioner. That's right. I have extended my reach, surpassing the realm of fantasy football. Anyway, my question is, every once in a while, TNA does a pay-per-view that every match on the card, it only has women. Like, there's no men in that card. And would that be something you think would be interesting in, like, the realm of WWE, where, say, the Raw, the SmackDown, and the NXT women's title are all defended in this pay-per-view, and the other matches could be like a tag matches or triple threat or whatever, but only women in this pay-per-view? I think it's an interesting idea. What do you guys think? Thank you.
Thank you, Ulysses. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. You were kind of hyped on this when you saw the video.
I think that'd be fantastic. They have the talent.
I would rather see them have a prominent spot in an entire pay-per-view. Like, because Sasha Charlotte's the match we want to see at Hell in a Cell. Give them the main event.
Yeah.
I would rather see that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I also think it'd be great to have.
Yeah.
An all-women's pay-per-view. I think it'd be fantastic.
All right, Larson, are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, I better get my list up.
Better get your list out. I'm on the hot seat today for Kayfabe Corner.
Yeah.
Oh, we want to say one thing real quick.
Oh, yeah. Update.
This Friday is the deadline.
Oh, that's...
to win this.
You decide that independently.
Do you want to go another week on
No,
it?
that's fine.
No, we can go another week.
No, I thought it'd be a 2-week deal anyways.
2-week deal? Okay, 2-week deal.
Okay, so we can go to next Tuesday.
Let's go to next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday's show we'll announce the winner.
Well, we started this on the dirt sheet.
Oh, we did?
We started this on the dirt sheet.
So let's do not this Friday, the following Friday.
Okay,
2 weeks.
This Kenny Omega shirt
can be yours.
Can be yours if you give us some fan art of Son of Power Lunch, which you can see at youtube.com/Steven Larson. It's our very first WWE 2K17 create a character. We'll also send you out one of these just for entering.
Yeah.
Postcard.
Are you ready? What is Kayfabe Corner?
Put it on our Twitter at Steven Larson or at Real Going In Wrong.
What is Kayfabe Corner?
It's the greatest wrestling trivia challenge ever, Larson.
12 names.
Yeah.
6 real.
Yeah.
6 fake.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
The theme The choices this week were The Miz
versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
I accidentally saw one person say Mr. Ziggler.
At the time I counted the votes before we started,
Okay.
The Miz was in the lead, so I did The Miz.
Okay, The
It
Miz
might have
is.
changed by now because it was a tight race. Are you ready?
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
Number 1,
I'm not feeling good about today.
Jake Carter.
Jake Carter. Fake.
Yeah, this is name of his role in the Marine movies.
Okay, good.
2,
Okay.
Super Domino 2.
Super Domino 2. I have to assume there was a Super Domino 1. I'm gonna say that's fake.
Yep.
Okay.
3,
Okay.
Nightcrawler.
Real.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that before.
4, Seth Skyfire.
Seth Skyfire? God, that's a horrible name to say. Seth Skyfire. Seth Skyfire. That's really bad. I'm gonna say fake.
Real.
Okay.
5, Dax Harley.
I'm gonna say that's fake.
Yeah.
Okay.
6, Palmer Cannon.
Palmer Cannon. I'll say that's real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, Scott Sargent.
That sounds like something you made up from something else. I'm gonna say fake.
Mhm.
Okay.
Next, Troy McDonough.
How do you spell McDonough?
McDonough.
Oh Jesus. Real.
Fake.
It's a very ambitious name there.
Next, the Stampede Kid.
Oh, real.
Who is that?
I don't know.
It's Tyson Kidd.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. Stampede, yeah.
Yeah. Next, Ricky Atlas.
I should say fake, but I think it's real.
It is real.
Okay.
Next, Brett Majors.
Brett Majors. What a great name, but it's fake.
Real.
Oh, wow. Great
Last
name.
one.
Okay.
Cole Cage.
Cole Cage. Oh, they're fake.
Yeah. I mean, is that 8? 9?
9, baby.
Shit.
Destroying it.
Yeah, you've been on a roll lately.
What's this one about, The Miz?
Yeah. I mean, really, the theme doesn't matter for the
It
name.
doesn't matter at all.
Just for the
9.
bonus questions.
Boy, oh boy.
It's good. You could tie the best score ever.
Okay.
How many championships has The Miz won during his time in the WWE? Total.
Okay. You mean how many championship reigns has he had?
How many times has he won a belt?
Okay, all right. Fuck, I mean, God, I have to
You just pretty much have to pull a number out.
I know. 13.
Close, 14.
Fuck!
Name the first wrestling organization The Miz ever wrestled for.
WWE.
Ultimate Pro Wrestling.
Really?
Yep.
Do you have any info on that?
Well, he wrestled as The Miz in it. There was like 2-3 sentences on Wikipedia about his time there.
Interesting. Huh.
That's where he trained too, was at Ultimate Pro Wrestling.
That's in LA. I think I might have been to some I think we've been to some shows from them.
Oh, really?
Ultimate Pro Wrestling. Wouldn't surprise me.
9. Good score.
Great score.
So you have a 6-point advantage right now.
Oh boy, oh boy. So next week
I have to get 6 to at least tie.
to tie. Ooh, I'm gonna bring my A game next week.
Okay.
The categories will be George Hackenschmidt and Frank Gotch.
All right, I'll spend this week doing some research then.
No, it's not gonna be that. Oh goodness gracious! All right, you ready to go get some lunch? Oh, we got to do our bonus
we
episode.
gotta do a bonus
Yeah, you
episode.
patrons out there can check out the bonus episode. We're gonna be doing that up next. In the meantime, thanks to everybody out there who's supporting us through Patreon or simply downloading it or checking it out at youtube.com/Steve
Yeah.
Larson. We really appreciate all the support out there. The
We
show
do.
is blowing up, and we love every second of it.
Yep.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye.